The crashed ship, the sky was burning. Captain Ray Carter's ship was falling fast. Sparks flew inside the control room. Warning lights blinked red. A loud alarm echoed. System failure. Engine offline, the ship's computer repeated. Ray pulled hard on the controls, trying to land. Come on, hold together, he shouted. The small scout ship hit the ground hard, sliding across rocky dirt. Metal screamed. Dust flew everywhere. Then silence. Ray opened his eyes. His forehead was bleeding. He was alive but stuck. He pushed the broken cockpit door and crawled out. The planet was dry, hot, and quiet. Red rocks stretched far in every direction. Strange black trees grew in the distance. This is not Earth, he whispered. Where the hell am I? Ray looked up. Smoke rose from his ship. The engine was gone. His radio was dead. He was alone. 2 hours later. Ray walked toward a rocky hill, carrying a small backpack and a scanner. He needed parts to fix the comms. Maybe even a way to power the emergency beacon. The scanner beeped. A weak energy signal showed on the screen, just half a mile away. Ray followed it. He reached a small cliff and looked down. There was a strange broken building, half covered in dirt. It looked abandoned for years. What is that? A lab, he wondered. He climbed down. The building was cracked and silent. Doors broken. Lights dead. Still, something about it felt not empty. He stepped inside. The air smelled old, like rust and ash. His flashlight cut through the darkness. Dust floated in the air. Suddenly, he heard a noise. A soft sound. Breathing. Crying. Ray raised his flashlight slowly. He walked down a hallway. His boots crunched on broken glass. Then he heard it clearly. Please. A girl's voice. Take me with you, or leave me to die. Ray froze. The girl in chains. The voice came from a metal room at the end of the hall. Ray pushed open the door. Inside was a small lab, filled with broken machines and strange lights. In the center of the room, a young girl sat on the floor. Her hands were chained to the wall. She looked about 20. Her skin was pale. Her clothes were torn. Her eyes glowed softly blue, almost like lights. Ray raised his hand. Who are you? The girl looked up, weak but alert. Are you human? She asked, her voice shaking. Yes, Ray said slowly. Captain Ray Carter, Scout Fleet, Earth Command. She smiled a little. Then tears rolled down her cheeks. I thought I'd never see a human again. Ray stepped closer. What happened to you? They left me here, she whispered. They ran experiments on me. I was part of a test, a weapon. Then they abandoned this place. Who are they? She looked away. My kind. I'm not fully human, not anymore. Ray looked around. The machines were alien, symbols he didn't understand. This lab wasn't human-made. He kneeled beside her and touched the chains. I can get you out. The girl looked into his eyes. If you take me with you, they will come, they'll follow, and they will kill you too. Ray stared at her. Why would they care about one person? Because, she said, I know their secrets. Escape or trap. Ray broke the chains with his laser cutter. The girl winced but said nothing. She stood slowly, legs weak, but her eyes full of fire. What's your name? He asked. Elia, she said. Ray gave her water. She drank it quickly. Suddenly, the scanner in his hand beeped again. A strong signal. He turned it on. What the? He frowned. Something just powered up, nearby. Elia's eyes went wide. They activated the lab's alert. They know someone found me. Ray looked outside. Dust clouds rose in the far sky, fast moving. Ships? He grabbed her hand. We have to go, now. Her name is Eliath. Sky was no longer quiet. Dark shapes moved above the hills, silent, watching. Hunting. Captain Ray and the strange girl Elia ran through the rocky valley. their feet slipping on loose stone. Behind them, the old alien lab was burning. A quiet alarm pulsed in the distance. A warning for something far worse. Ray didn't speak. He couldn't. His heart was beating too fast. He didn't know who or what was chasing them. He only knew one thing: they wanted her back. 3 hours later, they hid inside a narrow cave, hidden beneath sharp black rocks. Ray lit a small heat lamp. Elia sat beside him, breathing hard. She held her knees close like a child. Ray looked at her carefully. "You haven't said much." Elia didn't answer. "I saved you. I need to know what's going on." Finally, she looked up. "My name is Elia. I was not born. I was created." Ray raised an eyebrow. "Created?" She nodded. "My people, the Vari, they were building something. Something to help them win a war. I was part of it, but I saw too much." Ray leaned forward. "Too much of what?" She touched her temple. "They uploaded data into me. Maps, plans, weapons, information about your world Earth." Ray froze. "You've never been to Earth. How do you know?" "I saw your cities," she said. "Your oceans, your soldiers. I saw it all in my dreams. Your people think they are safe, but they are not." The glow in her eyes. Ray noticed the blue light in her eyes. It wasn't just color, it was alive, moving, like data flowing through a screen. "What's inside you?" he asked. She hesitated. "A living code. It's part of the Vari hive system. They use it to control soldiers, ships, even time in some places. They put it in me, but I broke it. I escaped. That's why they want me dead." Ray shook his head. "This is insane. You don't look like a weapon." She gave a small, sad smile. "Neither do you." He laughed quietly. "Fair." Then Elia's face changed, serious, scared. "You don't understand, Ray. They don't just want me back. They want to erase me. Erase the memory. They can't risk you taking me to Earth." The signal. Ray turned on his handheld scanner again. A signal still blinked in the distance, maybe a crashed beacon or satellite. "We need to send the message," he said. "If what you're saying is true, Earth has to know." Elia grabbed his arm. "If we activate a signal, they will find us even faster. We don't have a choice." The warning before they left the cave, Elia whispered something strange. "If they catch me and I start to change, do not help me." "What do you mean, change?" She looked away. "Sometimes the code inside me wakes up. It takes control. I become something else. If that happens, run." Ray stared at her. She wasn't just scared. She was afraid of herself. Moving toward the signal, they moved at night, through narrow canyons, keeping low. The stars above were unfamiliar. The wind carried a soft humming sound like machines in the sky. Finally they saw it. A broken satellite, half buried in the sand. Ray ran to it and opened the panel. "Still has power," he said. "Just need to rewire the signal." Elia stood far behind, arms wrapped around herself. "You're not going to like what happens next," she whispered. Ray looked at her. "Why?" Suddenly, her hands began to glow. Her body shook. She dropped to her knees, cliffhanger ending. Ray rushed to her side. "Elia, what's happening?" Her voice changed, deeper, hollow, almost robotic. "They are inside my mind again." Ray turned toward the satellite. Lights were blinking too fast. The signal was being hijacked. On the screen, alien symbols appeared. Then a single English sentence. "We see you, human." Hunters in the sky. The night sky was no longer empty. Above the broken hills of the alien world, a ship hovered, silent. Still, like a shadow with eyes. It had no windows, no lights. Only the shape of it moved, smooth and sharp like a blade. Made of dark glass. It wasn't searching. It already knew where to look. In the dust below, Captain Ray held Elia in his arms. Her skin burned hot. Her hands glowed blue. Her eyes rolled. Back as her body shook. "Stay with me," Ray whispered. "Don't let them in." But Elia wasn't answering. The satellite beside them was still blinking fast. Alien symbols flashed on the screen, changing shape, rewriting code. Then, the final words appeared again. "We see you, human," and below that, in red, "Retrieve subject. Eliminate witness." Ray looked up. The sky was watching. The ship descends. Low hum filled the air, deep and cold like a growl. The dark ship lowered from the clouds without flame or sound. As it came closer, the sand beneath it began to shake. Rocks cracked. Ray pulled Elia behind a boulder. She was breathing fast again, trying to control herself. "They're close," she whispered, barely awake. "I noticed," Ray said, checking his last grenade. She looked at him. "You can't fight them." "I'm not planning to fight," he said. "I'm planning to run." Unnatural silence then. All sound stopped. Even the wind. Ray had heard silence before. In space, in deep caves. But this was different. This silence had weight. It pressed on his chest like a hand. Then he saw them. 3 figures stepped out of the ship. Not metal. Not bone. Something in between. Their skin was dark silver, flowing like liquid armor. Their heads were long, without eyes or mouths. Only one thing glowed, a round red light in the center of their chest, pulsing like a heart. Elia trembled. Hunters. Ray held his breath. The hunters began scanning the ground with long arms made of wires and knives. One of them touched the satellite. It went dead instantly. They turned, now moving toward Ray's position. A dangerous choice. Elia grabbed Ray's arm. "Leave me," she said. "Run." "No, you don't understand," she said. "If they catch me, they'll read my mind. They'll find Earth. Billions will die." Ray looked at her, her glowing eyes, her shaking hands, her fear. "You're not a weapon," he said. "You're a person." She looked down. "Not anymore." Ray took a deep breath. Then, "You'll need a soldier." The escape plan. He pulled a small device from his belt, a signal booster. "This won't call Earth," he said, "but it will call my ship's escape pod. It still works? I don't know. But I didn't come this far to fail." He pressed the button. Far away, under a pile of broken metal and rock, something blinked green. "The chase begins." The hunters turned sharply. They had heard it. They moved faster now, floating instead of walking. Blades turning in the wind. Ray picked up Elia and ran. Sand flew behind his boots. The valley echoed with the strange sound of the machines chasing them. Not footsteps, not engines, just pressure. Like the sound of air being pushed aside by something that didn't belong here. Ray didn't look back. He didn't have to. He could feel them getting closer. The final moment. Cliffhanger. The cliffside appeared. The escape pod half buried. Blinking. Ray dropped Elia inside and slammed the hatch. He climbed in after her, hit the ignition. Nothing. He hit it again. Still nothing. Then a loud click. A hum. Power returned. But outside, just 10 feet away, the lead hunter reached the pod and raised its arm, sharp like a sword, humming with light. Inside, Elia opened her eyes. Her voice returned, but it wasn't her voice. "Let me out." Ray turned. Her eyes were fully blue now. Not glowing. Burning. The memory code. The escape pod shook. Metal groaned. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Captain Ray hit the launch button again. Not boom. The thrusters kicked in. The pod shot upward, leaving fire, dust, and 3 hunters in the dirt below. Inside the pod, Ray sat, strapped into the pilot seat, chest heaving. Next to him, Elia was silent. She wasn't shaking anymore. She wasn't speaking. She was just staring. Her glowing blue eyes were open, wide, locked on something invisible. Ray tried to talk. "Elia? You okay?" She didn't blink. He reached out to touch her shoulder. She grabbed his hand. Fast, too. Fast. Her eyes turned toward him. And in a voice that wasn't hers, she said, You shouldn't have saved me, human. The memory unlocked suddenly. The walls of the pod faded, not in real life. In his mind, Ray saw flashes, images, memories. Not his. He saw a huge alien ship floating above Earth's moon. He saw children taken from sleep pods and rebuilt into weapons. He saw files, coded, hidden inside living brains. And he saw her .ELYI. Not as she was now, but as she once was. A girl with dark hair, laughing with someone, a scientist, her creator. Then everything went dark again. Back to reality, Ray gasped. The pod was still flying, entering the upper sky of the alien planet. Elia blinked slowly and whispered, "I'm sorry." "I couldn't stop it." Ray looked at her, stunned. "What did?" "I just see." She looked down. "My memory code, it unlocked." "You showed me a war." "No," she said quietly. "I showed you a plan." "The truth comes," Ray stood. "You're carrying something inside you, something they want." "Yes," she said. "My mind holds their strategy, timelines, weak points, targets. They fed it into me like a machine. I was just supposed to deliver it and die." "But you ran." "I woke up," she whispered. "And I saw what they really were." Ray leaned closer. "You said they're planning to invade Earth." "Not planning," she said. "Starting. The first phase has already begun." Signal from space. Suddenly, the pod beeped. Ray turned to the screen. A new signal had been received. It wasn't from Earth. It was from a nearby satellite, human-built. Ray smiled. "That's one of ours, a deep-range relay. If we can connect to it, we can send your memory code to Earth Command." Elia looked nervous. "If we do that, they'll know exactly where we are." "They already do," Ray said. "But Earth doesn't. That's worse." The upload begins. The pod linked with the human satellite. Ray began the upload. Elia touched a panel, closed her eyes. A stream of blue data poured from her hands, symbols, numbers, language not meant for any one species. But halfway through the upload, the pod lights flickered. Red text flashed. "Warning. Code conflict. Host lockdown initiated." Elia cried out, grabbing her head. "No, not again." Ray rushed to her. "What's happening?" "They're fail-safe," she screamed. "They built a kill switch inside me. If I try to share the memory, it activates." Ray stared in horror. "What happens if it finishes?" She looked up at him, eyes glowing, tears falling. "I die." Cliffhanger ending. The pod began shaking again. Not from outside, from her. Elia's body lit up. Her skin cracked with light. Her hands gripped the seat. Ray had a choice. Stop the upload and save her. Or finish the upload and save Earth. He reached for the console. Elia looked at him and whispered, "Choose." Betrayal in the wreckage. The lights stopped flickering. The shaking ended. Captain Ray Carter sat still, hand frozen over the control panel. Next to him, Elia slumped in her seat, pale, weak, barely breathing. Upload was at 74%, but he had shut it down. Not because he wanted to, because she begged him to. And now, he wasn't sure if he had made the right choice. The broken landing, the escape pod crashed near a dry canyon, far from the alien cities. It didn't land smoothly. The engine sputtered out just before touchdown. The pod hit the rocks hard, cracked its nose, and skidded until it slammed into a wall of wreckage. Smoke. Silence. Ray kicked the door open. "We're down." He coughed, pulling Elia out. "Not dead, that's something." They were surrounded by pieces of old ships, abandoned tech, a graveyard of machines from different worlds, a scrapyard in space. But not empty. What's left behind. Ray and Elia moved slowly through the wreckage, looking for shelter. Ray noticed something strange. Many of the destroyed ships were human-made. Scout drones, survey pods, some from Earth missions dating back 50 years. How did all of this end up here? He muttered. Elia didn't answer. Her steps were shaky. Her mind seemed somewhere else. Talk to me, Ray said. Tell me what I don't know. She looked at him, then pointed to a broken black panel on the ground. It was glowing softly. Log file, subject 9, classified. Ray picked it up. The truth in the file. The screen flickered, then played an old recording, a voice, male, calm, cold. Project subject 9. Prototype failed to follow obedience protocols. Memory core self-altered. Emotional response detected. Target must be eliminated to prevent cross-species contamination. Use of subject 9 as a memory carrier no longer safe. She believes she is alive. If found, terminate immediately. Ray's eyes widened. He looked at Elia. Her face was blank. She had heard it before. A cold distance. He stepped back from her. Just a little, Elia noticed. You think I lied? I think. I don't know what to think. She looked down. I never asked for this. Ray's voice was quiet, but sharp. They didn't just make you. They programmed you. Every emotion. Every word. Is it really you? She closed her eyes. I used to wonder that too. And now? She looked up. I still do. Paranoia. They found a broken escape room from an old human dropship. It had power, a med kit, and air. Ray patched her arm, but something had changed between them. They didn't speak much. They sat across from each other, like strangers in a storm. Then Ray asked softly, if they used you to send this memory code to Earth, what if the code itself is a trap? Elia didn't answer right away. Then she said, maybe it is. Maybe I am. Nightfall. As night fell over the scrapyard, Ray couldn't sleep. He stared at the stars, wondering if Earth was already under attack, wondering if he had let billions die just to save her. Suddenly, he heard movement. He grabbed his blaster, stepped. Outside, Elia was standing among the broken machines, staring at the sky. Her body was glowing faintly again. Ray stepped closer. What are you doing? She turned to him slowly. Her eyes were brighter, and her voice was wrong. The human has doubts. He should. The memory is no longer safe. Cliffhanger ending. Ray raised his weapon. Elia? Is that still you? She blinked. Once. Twice, and then fell to her knees. No, she whispered. They're waking up inside me. Her body shook. Her voice split. Run, or stay, and die. The last escape silenced. For one long moment, nothing moved. The air was cold. The stars above were too bright. The machines in the wreckage hummed like ghosts, and Elia was on her knees. Whispers filled her mouth, not her voice, but many voices. All speaking at once. All not human. She is broken. The data must be cleansed. The witness must be erased. Captain Ray stood frozen. His blaster shook in his hand. He wasn't looking at Elia anymore. He was looking at what was inside. Her a choice in the dark. Fight it, Elia, Ray said, stepping closer. You can beat this. Her head jerked. Her body sparked with light. I can't, she whispered. It's not just code. It's alive. The memory code was more than data. It was a weapon, a mind virus, a living intelligence buried deep in her brain. And now it was waking up. Ray dropped to his knees beside her. I'm not leaving you. Her voice broke. Then you'll die with me. The beacon. Suddenly, the scanner on Ray's belt lit up. A signal. Very close. He pulled out a map. There, he said. Emergency beacon. Old Vari tech. Could power the pod one last time. He looked at her. We get there. We leave this planet. Together. Elia smiled faintly. And then what? I bring this virus back to Earth? You're not a virus, Ray said. You're the cure. You just haven't found it yet. The race to the beacon. They moved fast. Through broken metal fields, past melted ships and half-buried machines. Every step was harder. Elia's light grew brighter, and so did the voices. Shut her down. Erase the memory. No more dreams. She stumbled, fell. Ray picked her up again and again. They reached the beacon, a tall black tower, dead, but not destroyed. Ray ripped open the panel. Power cells, low, but usable. He linked his escape pod to it. A slow charge began. The final hour, as Koei. The power transferred. Elia collapsed against the beacon. I can't hold it much longer, she whispered. Ray sat beside her. He took her hand. If you lose control, she said, you know what you have to do. He nodded. But he didn't mean it. Not yet. A vision of Earth suddenly. Elia's eyes flashed. Not blue-green. She saw Earth. Not as it is. As it would be if the invasion happened. Cities burning, oceans boiling, ships blacking out the sun, machines walking through ash. Children crying. Silence after that. She gasped. I saw it, she whispered. The end. Ray held her tight. Then we stop it. That's why you're here. She looked at him, her eyes filled with something strange. Hope. One last threat. Just as the pod powered up, a shape moved behind the beacon. A hunter. Only one this time. But faster. Deadlier. It charged toward them, blade arm raised. Red light glowing from its chest. Ray fired. Once, twice. No effect. Elia stepped forward, her body glowing now, bright like a sun. She whispered to the hunter, you forgot one thing. I changed the code. She raised her hands, and the hunter froze mid-air. Shaking. Breaking. Exploding into dust. Then she collapsed. Cliffhanger ending. Ray caught her. Her heart was beating slow. Her light was fading. The pod doors opened. He carried her inside. The engines roared. They left the planet behind. But Elia's voice, barely a whisper, said, they know we're coming. Earth is not ready. Earth. Blue, bright, alive. But it didn't feel like home anymore. Not to Captain Ray, and not to Elia, the girl who had once been part weapon, part warning. And now, possibly, the only thing standing between life and extinction. Returned. Their escape pod broke through Earth's upper atmosphere. Alarms rang. Systems failed. Heat shields cracked, but the ocean below grew larger with every second. We're almost there, Ray said. Beside him, Elia was barely awake. She had used too much energy stopping the hunter. Her glow was fading. The code inside her was quiet, for now. Ray landed hard in the Pacific. A military drone picked them up within minutes. Quarantine 2 hours later, they were in a cold metal room. No windows. Bright lights. Scientists. Soldiers. Ray stood between them and Elia. She's not the threat, he said. She's the warning. They didn't believe him until she opened her eyes. The memory relic. Celia sat in front of Earth commands. Top leaders. She didn't speak. She simply touched the console. And the truth spilled out. Holograms filled the room. Planets burned, species erased, alien machines spreading like fire. The Vari invasion plan, step by step, dates, entry points. Human weaknesses they should never have known. How much time do we have? One general asked. I answered softly, not enough. The debate. Some wanted to lock her away. Some wanted to use her as a weapon. Ray stood in the middle. She's already saved your lives, he said. And she's dying because of it. A silence followed. Then the alarms began. The arrival in orbit. A satellite exploded. Then another. Then communication to Mars base went dead. And then every major screen on Earth lit up with the same message. Written in the Vari's own language, but translated instantly. Return the memory, or Earth will be erased. The final decision inside the base. Ray helped Elia to her feet. Her voice was weak. They're close. We won't let them take you. She smiled. They don't want me. Not anymore. They want what's inside me. Ray looked at her. Then we give it to them, but on our terms. They connected Elia to Earth's deep space beacon. The code inside her began to transfer, not to the Vari, but to every major system on Earth. A warning. A defense. But it came with a cost. Her heart was slowing. Her glow was fading. Climax. The goodbye. She looked at Ray. I was made to carry death. You carried hope instead, Ray said. Will they remember me? He nodded. Every time they fight back. She smiled, then closed her eyes, and the glow was gone. Epilogue. The war begins 1 week later. The Vari ships appeared above the moon. Earth was ready. Not fully. Not perfectly. But they knew the enemy now. They had her memories, her warnings, her courage, and one message remained, sent by Ray himself, replayed on every screen as the defense systems powered up. You should have killed her when you had the chance.